Hi. I am going to channel love energy for you. It's from the universe of love, and the spirits that I channel call themselves Aaron for our benefit. If there's something that touches your heart, you can come back onto the YouTube page. If you press subscribe, you'll know when I put them up. And there's a Facebook page too with like little quotes and that kind of thing and other links. So I hope you find something that makes you smile today, maybe, or at least stop and think, maybe. Okay, so I'm just going to be quiet and I'll say goodbye at the end. We would like to have a conversation as if it was from one human to another, you see. There's a certain way you communicate with one another that is quite different than the way we communicate with you. Oftentimes there are discussions where ego is involved and you're not always aware of it. Sometimes you are, but we wish to point out the way you converse with one another. It is not always a way to draw someone to you in your heart and to hold them there, you see. There are some ways you go about in a confrontational way where others are pushed away and then they push you back and you push them back. And you spend time in these kind of conversations. You don't know that, you don't know that, well, you don't know that. And it's sort of this back and forth like this, you see. This kind of thing is energy then, you see, between the two of you that is creating sort of it is like a vortex, really. And it is a vortex of negativity, and others can be drawn into it in addition to you two. So it is if you are digging a hole and you're starting off, then the other's helping you dig it, then you're digging, they're digging, you're digging, both of you going down, down, down in this hole, you see. The others, of course, can fall into it because there's a hole there now. And what we mean by this is that you are not aware always that your hole is getting deeper and deeper, and it's getting more difficult for you to get out of it. So after you're done, you get caught up in it. You don't know that. You're not so good at that. You don't understand, and all of this. It's getting deeper and deeper every moment. And you're caught up so much in the vibration of it, the energy of it. You're missing what's really going on. This happens easily for you because it's intriguing and invigorating sometimes, and you really just get caught up in it. So what we're suggesting, if you can sort of understand what it is we mean, it's not really anger, but it's this odd discussion of arguing with someone as if you know and they don't, and then they know and you don't. It's very much a waste of your time and theirs. So if that is the case, why is it you'd spend any time at all in this situation? Why argue with someone who won't change their mind? Why dig a hole for both of you now? You're both going down the hole. You're not going by yourself because you're in it together, you see. It's difficult for you to have this kind of discussion by yourself. Some of you can, but it doesn't go as far and as deep. So the real question is, how is it you can perhaps not get into it at all? The way, really, for you to avoid these kind of situations are to be aware of your own ego. Because it is your ego, of course, it wishes to be correct all of the time. It has a certain need to be correct. It feels as if it's always correct, it will keep you safe. So that's all that is to that. But when you get into a discussion with someone else and they have to be right because their ego is keeping them alive and yours is keeping you alive, the two of them are at battles, you see. It is this moment, with the first discussion, when they say, you don't know that for sure. This is the time when your ego engages. So this is the only moment for you to try to pull back for a moment and say, perhaps I don't. And that ends the entire discussion, you see. It ends it. They can't argue, you can't argue. You can't dig a hole and get stuck in it. So it's all the way back to the beginning here. Now, what will your ego think if you say, perhaps I don't know that? It's not going to like it at first. It's going to be uncomfortable and wish to have a response. Well, yes, I might. You see, it's going to need a little bit of comforting. So when you say, perhaps I don't know that, and your ego gets all ready to get its shovel out, there's going to have to be a little bit of comforting here. This can perhaps be, well, maybe we'll investigate this further and get back to them. Simple as that, you see. That will keep your ego in check. They'll say, all right then, as long as we're going to investigate, I can let this go. You see, it's just a certain amount of ease and comfort for the ego. Always the ego must be addressed, otherwise it will run your life. So for those that are interested in this sort of vibration, this sort of evolution or bettering of yourself, you are interested in this. You don't wish to be stuck all up in this energy. But your ego still must be addressed because it is still keeping you alive. So when you say to it, oh, perhaps I don't, that's to the other human, so their ego backs off. To your ego, you have to say, we're going to check that out a little bit further. That one's backed off. And now there's the two humans left here. What is it you truly want to say to one another? Now that the egos are aside, what is it you wish to say? This is the heart of the matter, you see. When the egos are set aside, humans may draw to one another on a heart-to-heart, a soul level. Now you may get to it. You look as if you're in pain, my friend. You see? But in order to get to this part, the egos must be set aside. There are certain human beings that get your ego going more than others. But when they're set aside, your true highest calling can come about, which is a deep connection with other humans at a level of love, you see, a level of understanding and humanity, really, kindness. So that is the gift for addressing the ego of each. A true, honest communication and connection with another human who at this moment might have something very important to tell you. You would never know, you see, if the two of you are digging a hole and getting stuck in it. But if you're sitting on a higher level, not higher, better, higher vibrationally, then you may have a real talk, a real sharing, which will be much more heartfelt to you and meaningful. So, give it a try today. Tell your ego, just a moment. We're going to let this one go. We're going to do some further investigation. And if it needs be, we will come back and dig a hole with this human. But right now, we're going to check it out first. Just to make sure we've got all our information. Tell it whatever it wishes. It just wishes to know that you value it. All you have to do is acknowledge it, you see. Your ego doesn't really want to run your life. It wants to be acknowledged and keep you safe. So, when you run across one of these humans and your ego gets up and you want to argue, just stop for just a moment and think, perhaps you're right. Perhaps I don't know about this. There is much love here for you. Namaste. ego again. I'll try to think of that. That's a good piece of advice even. But I like that underneath that, which is what they always get to, it's keeping you from having the heart-to-heart or the human-to-human relationship with someone.